Happy International Day of Peace. I see that some of you have come back to color today, so we're gonna draw. But of course, I have to thank the people. So I know if you were here for the reading session, you're gonna have to bear with me because I do wanna make sure that on this International Day of Peace, we thank the people who have allowed us to get to come together. So that would be Sandy Hart, Mimi Hicklin, and Marilyn Tikovic, who taught me how to use all this technology, but we're gonna use a little more technology in this section because I'm gonna draw from my iPad. So if things get a little wonky, bear with me. They taught me, I may not have learned, but I keep trying to learn, and that's the piece of things, when we keep trying to learn. So I thank you guys from the Charter of Compassion for giving us this format to meet and greet together. And the Charter of Compassion for Women and Girls, who gave us theirs particularly all last night and today to talk and teach about peace. So thank you. And to Zoom, who created this format, who can have endless amounts of people from around the world to create solutions for things that are going on, to chat and talk. You guys could connect with schools all over the world and learn what's in their headlines, what's in our headlines. What's your weather like? What time of day is it? What's your season? What are the new fashion trends? It's a way to connect, and we love that. So Zoom, thank you, and thank you guys all who made this a part of it. That was supposed to be a heart. I'm not sure that got out there. So we're gonna try to create the connection with my iPad and start, because you don't really need to see me or my dragon friend over here for the whole time. We need to start to draw. So I'm going to get us on this format. I'm going to share it, but I also want you to think about a couple things first that are particular to drawing and particular to peace. Now, when we teach peace, one of the things that we have you start to own is you are the artist of your life. You get to create it. That means you see me using my hands. This is the artistry of my life. I love to talk with my hands. I don't know why. I probably should sit on them, but I do. The way I color my hair, I think you can see I've got purple in there. The way it's cut, that's the way I've styled my life. That's the artistry of who. Now, there was an artist that did the cutting because I could not cut my own hair. But the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we speak, the way we stuff our backpacks, the way we stuff our drawers, right? There's an art to it. There's a way that we decorate our phones, the way that we decorate ourselves, our clothing. That is all artistry. And we own that artistry because that's the beauty of ourselves and our being, that we are creators. Now, one of the most powerful things that we forget is that we can recreate. So one of the things I want you to remember is at any point in time, anything that you've created in your life, you can change. And if something starts to go wonky in your day, you can take a deep breath and start again and change your whole day. You have that power. You're the artist that can do that. So you're the artist. Now I'm going to teach you how to draw with letters, numbers, and shapes. Your handwriting does not look like my handwriting. And you should be very happy about that. But that also means that your dragon won't look exactly like mine. And chances are this is the first time you've drawn a dragon like this with me. So cut yourself some slack. But just like peace, the lesson out of here is take the good things forward in the next drawing that you do and leave the trash. Find the treasure, leave the trash. So draw this dragon, let it go where it does, and then look at it and decide what you want to keep and what you don't need to keep. There's lots of things in our lives that we try to carry forward and lug along that we don't need. We can turn the page. And it's one of the amazing things about being an artist. We can always clean the slate and let it go. Sometimes if you have a dot on your slate, you can concentrate just on that dot, and you forget that the whole rest of that canvas is a beautiful space for you to create something that includes that dot. Peaceful things to think about. So you're the artist. You have your signature style, and you take what's good forward, and you let the other stuff, let it slide away. So we're going to see now if we can create this connection that we need and it might take a few seconds or so. And I've got a big screen in front of my face right now, so I don't know if you can see, but I think that we are going to be where we need to be. There we go. Yay! Now, before I start, I do have to say one or two things. There is going to be a place and time where you need to put your pencils down, and then you can watch me draw, and that'll be when I talk about the eyes. And I'm going to switch off the screen that we've started our drawing on and show you how to draw 4 different eyes. But I'm also going to show you how the same lines that we used in the original drawing will now create 4 different heads, 4 completely different things, just by exaggeration of those lines. It's really kind of cool. I'm going to show you 4 different eyes. Do you have to use my eyes? Of course not. You're the artist. You get to decide what eyes you like. If you've already, if you're an artist by heart already, you know the kind of eyes you want to draw. Go ahead and do it. You don't have to do it my way. Do it your way. I'm just showing you a way that I do it, and I hope you'll find it easy. Because when you see things the way like this, you'll be able to look at anything out there, any piece you want to draw, and break it down into simple lines. So the first thing that we're going to start off with is drawing the head of the dragon. And at first, you're going to turn around and you're going to think I'm wacko-nutsy because you're going to say, I don't see it yet. So wait a little bit, and then you'll see it start to come together. The way I do it is just like puzzle pieces, little pieces coming together bit by bit. You never have to erase. You just let it come together. Watch where I start a line, watch where it ends. And sometimes I'm going to draw a little dot. I'll tell you not to draw it, but then you'll see where I'm starting, because obviously you can't see because I'm not standing right in front of you. So one of the first things that we are going to do is that we're going to turn our paper a certain way. Now, I have traveled all over the world, and I've learned some really fun things. Now, the very straightforward thing is this is landscape, and this is portrait, because this looks like your school picture, and this looks like the picture of your backyard. Now, in other parts of the country, I've heard bathtub, shower, subway, rocket, ranch house, apartment house, banana split, ice cream sundae, hot dog, hamburger. So we're going to do hot dog, subway, banana split. And that's where you're going to start your paper. Now, if you look at the screen and you see, now I'm going to turn around. I'm going to show you, don't draw this line, but here's right about where you want to draw the head of your dragon. Okay? Don't put a line there. I just want to show you where you'll start. Now, the first thing that we're going to draw is the head and the snout of the dragon. And it starts with a question mark. Question mark is just a C with a stick on it. And if that were to fall asleep, you would see that the C becomes the head of the dragon and the stick becomes the snout. So if the stick were pointed this way, the dragon would be looking straight forward. If the stick were pointing downward, the dragon would be looking down. If the stick were looking upward, the dragon would be flying. And that's how we want to draw it. So in this upper right-hand corner, you're going to start by drawing your line, sliding down, and then the C on top. Now at the end of that stick that doesn't have the C on it, you're going to draw a little straight line, which I call a pretzel stick, and that's the end of the snout. It closes off the front of the face of the dragon. The next letter that we're going to do is a J. The J looks like a stick with a little C or a little U on the bottom of it. In this case, it's going to be a smile, then it'll be the jaw, then it'll be a heel, it'll be a spine. This plays a lot of things, and at the very end, it's going to be a feather. So now, at the end of that stick, excuse me, we're going to slide down. We're going to follow the same direction as the snout, and we're going to go all the way down. And when we get to the middle of that C, we're going to curve up slightly. And that is the smile of our dragon. Some of you guys may know Pac-Man. Waka, 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 waka. Looks like a very hungry sea. Well, this very hungry sea is going to try and eat the bottom of that J. So at the bottom of that J, right, our C is going to open up its mouth, like this, and almost eat that. He's got a big old jowl. Now I told you J is going to come along and be the jaw. So it was the smile, and now it's going to be the jaw. At the end of that C, we're going to put the J, and it's going to curve up, and it's going to close the mouth to our dragon. That's the head of the dragon. I'm going to put a little horn right there. I'm also going to put a little nostril right there. An upside down A that's been tickled, or an upside down V that has a tickled line, which means it's just curved a little, will make a perfect horn. You can even use those lines if you want to have a stripy horn. Now, put your pencils down for a second. I'm going to change screens. I'm going to turn that one off. And I told you we're going to learn how to draw 4 different eyes. And I'm going to do it using 4 different heads, using the exact same lines. So take a rest for a second, watch. We're going to draw the eyes, 4 different ones. You can choose any eye you want to do. And I'm going to go back to the main page, and I'll draw all 4 eyes again. And you can choose which one you want to do. So the first one, instead of using straight lines like I did, what if I did wobbly lines? What if I had a little too much coffee this morning and I do the wobbly lines? Now, instead of, right, the pretzel stick going up and down, straight up and down like I did, what if it goes inward? Now let's go ahead and do the J, and it's got a and right up in the middle of the head. And we're going to do the Pac-Man C. But instead of just being a normal size, we're going to do a small C. So let's take a small C like this. And let's do a big J. And let's give him a couple of horns on his, right? And then a big old floppy horn on the top of his head. Now I want you to see that these are the exact same lines that we used on our first drawing. Exact same lines. Look how different they are. If you look around the room, you'll see that we all have different features. So an animator or an illustrator will take our features and exaggerate them just a little bit to make differences to show that they're not all the same. Because if we all look like twins, who would know who was who? So these little features, these differences, identify us. So what we do then is I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to keep drawing on oops. Sometimes I told you technology. I'm just going to use my finger. Okay, so we're going to continue drawing the different dragons. So we did that. So now I'm going to do a big pointy head, and I'm going to do a snout. And instead of going inward or straight up and down, I'm going to go outward. And I'm going to take that C, and I'm going to pull it up like this. And we did a little C up above and a big J. So now I'm going to do a big C, a little J. All the same lines, completely, totally different. It looks like I made a little noodle in there. So I'm going to keep that little noodle there and just make something out of nothing. And then I'm going to do maybe a couple horns there and a little horn in the middle there. Now the next one, what if we did a robot dragon? So a robot dragon would have all straight lines, and it might look a little bit angular because it's a robot dragon. So our first lines are the robot dragon. It's okay to make funny noises when you're drawing. It's okay to do anything when you're drawing. So the next thing we're gonna do is put that snout on it, and I'm gonna point it outward a little bit. All the same lines, just slightly different to make them look different. Now the J, bop, 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 goes in there. Our next line is the Pac-Man C. Robot dragons like Pac-Man. And then our J, J. And he probably has a bolt, right? He probably has a bolt for the nose. And instead of a horn, he's probably got a beep, 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 beep. It's actually really fun to make noises while you draw. Beep, 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 beep. That's radar going out. Now the next one we're gonna draw, let's see, we're gonna put, how about a really round head, a short snout, a long face like this. I'm gonna curve that out. Now, one of the things I wanna show you is, as you keep on drawing dragons and doing this, you'll see that that C and the J almost look like a W. Right? It kind of looks like a W, or an upside down 3. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to draw it like a wavy little W. And we're going to give this guy lots of spiky horns. Now, we're going to start with drawing the eyes. One of the first eyes that we do is the sleepy C. It's a C, it's a Zen eye. And so it's the letter C, and it's rolled back to go to sleep, and it goes, ah, and it relaxes just a little. So it looks like this. The next eye is called the sleepy Y, but it's a giggly Y. If everybody smile really, really big. Can you see how that changes the shape of your eye? My eye goes from like the almond shape, and then all of a sudden it curves the other way. So that's exactly what happens to the letter Y. It falls asleep and someone tickles it. When you get tickled, you say, ah, stop. So it becomes tickly. Now, when we draw the first part of this, you could leave it just like that. But because our eyes crinkle up and they get those little crow's feet, we can put that little line right there, and it makes it just a little bit more detailed. The next eye for the robot eye is the D eye. It's a capital D, and a D is just a stick with a C on it. It's fallen asleep, and once again, it's smiling, so it's going to be a tickled line on the bottom. So like this, we start off just like the sleepy Y, and we're going to cap the C on top of it. Now in this case, because it's the robot, I'm going to keep our square lines, our theme. Now, it's got a hollow eye, unless if its eye were closed, that would be the eyelid. But say that we want to put the eye in there. Now watch what happens. When I put it, if the dragon is looking straight forward, the ball of the eye is going to go right here. If he's looking back at all these crazy dragons that are around him, it's going to go right there. He's like, what? Now our last eye is really fun, because you'll find that if you use every letter in the alphabet, every one of them can make an eye of some kind. Wacky, wonky eyes, but still, every one of them can make an eye. And the last one is a capital letter A. Now, what happens with the letter A is, right, it sits like this, and it falls asleep. Someone goes, wake up! And those lines curve outward. And the straight bar also curves outward. So watch what happens. Someone says, wake up! So those lines curve out. And that straight line of the A, that bar scoots all the way down to the end and goes there. And then we put the ball on it. And we can go, what? We can give him a little curly Q nostril. We maybe even put a little line there. So anyway, those are the 4 eyes. So I'm going to turn off the screen. I'm going to go back to our original drawing, and you guys can start deciding which eye you want to use. So I'm going to go back here. Everyone can see those? I'm going to turn those off. I'm going to turn back on. Oops. Well, that's kind of crazy. We want to turn that one off. We want to go here. There we go. Oops. Okay, it won't let me do that, so I am sorry, guys. We are having some crazy time here. There we go. So the next thing you want to do is pick your eye. And remember, you can do whatever eye you want. I think I will do the A eye and put it right there. I want him to see where he's going. He's like, what? Look at that. Now, I told you that J was also going to be the spine. Now, in this case, off of the back of this C, we're going to decide. Now, you can decide to have a big-headed dragon with a little bitty body, which means your J might look like this. Don't draw that, because if you want to have a big-bodied dragon and a little bitty head, then you would draw a great big J. But I'm going to draw just a medium-sized J and draw a medium-sized dragon. So I'm going to start at the back of that. Oops, lost my color. I'm going to start at the back there And I'm gonna follow the same direction the snout was in. And I'm gonna just see, and I'm gonna think, that looks pretty good for my dragon. And see, I got a little wiggly in there, it doesn't matter. It follows that way. If your J went up and down like that, your dragon would probably just be taking off, and he's gonna have to flap his wings extra hard to get his back legs out there to keep flying. So right now, we've got him flying really well. Now, back leg is a question mark again. So we're gonna do a C on a stick, and it's gonna go. So that C is gonna look like it's gonna eat the back of that J. And the stick is gonna create the top of the foot of that hind leg. And so it goes out this way. Now the C is gonna act like a hook, and it's gonna be the heel. So if you were pretending that a J was a hook and it was gonna hook right where the C and the stick met, the C of that J is gonna start right here, and it's gonna go down like that and create the toes. And if you want to, you can create a little line, excuse me, that makes the toe. Now we're gonna draw a line, right, that makes the hind leg. So we're just gonna draw a little curvy line, and that separates the thigh from the calf. Because if you look at your legs, you have the upper part of your leg, and then you have your calf. So that's just the line that separates that. But if you look, now don't draw this, but I want you to see what we've just drawn. So if you ever wanted to draw a little bird, someone once pointed out to me that you would start off with that question mark, you would use that J, you would start with a V, but one side would have curvy edges. You connect and make the tail. You create a little beak there. You make a little smiley beak. Put two little legs like this, and all of a sudden, a C, a 3, and a 3. You got a little ducky, which is kind of cool because you can use all of the lines that we're using today to create something else. I got to make sure, oops, I get my pen back on there. And we're going to start now by drawing the chest of the dragon. So what you want to do is take 2 pretzel sticks off of the C that was the Pac-Man by the jaw. So right there, and they're going to run just a little downward from the jaw and the smile and the spine. Now you can't see, but normally I would ask you guys, we're gonna put an arm on it. And the arm is made of LLCC. When we make the first L, it can also be called a V, but it also takes those 2 lines that we just made, and that first L looks like an arrow that's pointing to that back leg. So it's like, look at my leg. And then we'll draw another line that says, no, 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 really, look at my leg. So watch how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna draw that first one, that first arm, and it looks like it's an arrow pointing to that leg. Look at my leg. Now, if you've drawn it way far down and you think, oh no, don't worry about it. You can put your line in front of this one, but I've drawn my arm right about where I want it. So my second L goes right here, and it's look at my leg. No, 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 really, look at my leg. Now we're going to draw 2 C's that are going to make the cupped hand of the dragon. This dragon has empty hands. And we're going to talk about that when we finish drawing the dragon. So you're going to come here, and at the top one, you're going to make a C. And if you want to, you can just keep your pen right there and come back, whoops, and make another C. And there's the little fingernails if you want to make the fingernails. Now, we're not going to draw the other fingers because whatever your gift is for the world, it's going to go there and you wouldn't see that yet. So we're not going to put that in there. And the same thing happens with this arm. This arm is sort of like a ghost arm. It's flapping around with no body. So we want to attach it to the body. So what we do is when we see that, we don't want to erase. So when we look at those lines, we think, okay, I want to see where my lines are going. So one way we can do it is sort of just look at it and map it. And we're going to take our pen, and we're going to put it at the end of that line. I'm going to do the inside line first. I'm just going to put that pen down there. I'm going to draw until I hit that arm. I'm going to continue, pick up my pencil, continue drawing the same way I would go, and then put it down on the other side of that arm and draw that body. So that separates the back from the tummy. Now, one of the tricks that you can do is sort of map your way with dots. If we draw lines, a lot of times we have to erase them, and then they don't erase really well. I don't know why they say there's an eraser, because it doesn't really erase ever. So I like to just draw dots because it's really easy to erase a dot, and then a dot easily becomes some part of a cloud or something else, especially for flying dragons, if I erase the dot. So watch what I'm going to do. I want a little belly on my dragon, so I start to draw dots. And say that I got a wonky dot. Ooh, no, we don't want those. So I would just erase those dots, and then I would put them back in and map that out. Now I know exactly where I want to go. This is really good if you're drawing something where, and I'll show you when we're doing a bat, you can do, right? You can match a wing for a wing on the other side, or if you want two things to look exactly the same on the opposite sides. Drawing dots to make sure they're equal on the same height is a really good trick. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to connect those dots. When we hit that arm, we pick it up and we continue down and we connect those dots. And if you want to, those dots become really easy. We can work those right into the design as the belly lines. So I'm going to show you something else now too, because the ear for the dragon is also going to be the wing. And I'm going to show you how to draw two different wings. But the first thing we're going to do is going to put an ear on our dragon, because dragons want to hear things, especially peace dragons. They want to hear, hello. So repeat after me. C, C. C, C, C. C, C. C, C, C. So we're going to start at the back, right? The back of the horn, right behind the horn. But watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw it first. So don't draw this. Watch. We do C. Don't pick up your pen and go right back. C. Then we're going to do C, C. And it looks like an M. And we're going to do C all the way back up there. And that's the ear. Now, at the end of October, we have a holiday. And this is the perfect way to draw a little friend that you might see during this time of year. And we do a C and a C and a C and a C and a C, right? So that's a bat wing too. Now, if you have woken up this bat, an upside down V and a couple of fangs and two angry little eyes, might change that little, right? That nice little flying bat into something quite different. Okay, so we're going to start to draw the ear for real on our dragon. Right in the back, right behind that horn, we're going to draw the C, and keep your pen there and go right back where you started. It almost looks like a squishy V that's been bent. Now the two next C's look like an M or a 3 that's gone fallen asleep. So we do a C and a C. And that last C goes all the way home. Before we do the wings, we're missing something here. What do you think? What do you think? You got your nose, you got your ears, you got your eyes. How about a tail? Now, I usually draw an S for a tail, but here's the thing. If you're too close to the edge of the paper, you're the artist. Start to draw the tail and let it go on the other side. If there's no room on it, fabulous. How did the peace dragon lose its tail? There's an amazing story in there. Tell me about it. Maybe it has a little bitty tail. Tell me a story about the little-tailed peace dragon. You have the opportunity to create anything you want to. You can have that tail go down under. You can have the tail go up, but we're going to draw wings. So we want to leave an area for the wings to be drawn. So what I usually do is draw an S. And then on the way back, I'm going to go thick to thin. So I'm going to start at the other end of that tail, and I'm going to closely follow that, but I'm going to get thicker as I go away. And that's how I get a thin to a thick tail. Now, I always put a little heart, and I'm close to the edge of my paper, and I use 2 J's, and I let it glow. I'm out of paper, but that's okay, because he's flying off the paper. When you start to look at picture books and other illustrations, you'll see that if someone's flying off the page, you might not see the full character. You might only see the back of their leg or only their head. Who knows? You won't see. Now, we're going to draw the wings. I'm going to draw them on separate levels because I want you to see how to draw 2 different wings. So hold on, put your pencils down, and let me show you how to draw both wings, and then we'll go ahead and draw that. Now, remember C, 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 C. So we'll start off and we'll go C, C. And the 2 C's, right, make the M, and that last C comes home. C, 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 just like the ear. And then because a wing would probably fold up, I always put just those little lines there. So that's one wing. Now the other wing that I like to do, is with 7s and J's. This is the last time the J appears, but it's a feather. So this is a great wing for birds, for angels, for whatever has feathery wings. Maybe it's a Pegasus, who knows? Maybe it's your own creature that you've designed. But we're going to start off with a 7. And we're going to start off with another 7, following straight and close behind. And then we're going to do J, 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 J. Maybe another little J. And there's the feathered wings. So I'm going to keep this on. I'm going to show you. We did that wing, and I'm going to keep that up there for a second or two. I'm going to keep it up for a minute. And for those of you that want to draw the bat wing, you can. Doesn't matter. You could actually mix the wings, couldn't you? You could do anything. You could make those, instead of C's, what if they were V's? What if you put feathers, right, with U's on the bottom of those C's for the bat wing? You can do it. You're the artist. You can create anything you want. Now, for those that wanted to try the feather wing, we'll go to that one. That's the 7, and then lots of J's. And thank you for bearing with me with this technology, because sometimes it doesn't like my hand stepping on it, and sometimes it doesn't do what I want it to do all the time. But we don't scream and throw our technology around, because then we might break our technology. So we hold our peace, even when it doesn't do the things we want it to do. So we've got a couple more minutes. We've got 10 more minutes. And I want to talk about the gift, right? I want to talk about the gift of the peace dragon. Oops. Right? Here's where we go. Remember I told you it doesn't always cooperate with me. But here's the thing. Our peace dragon has empty hands. What gift will your dragon bring? What gift will your peace dragon bring to this world? And there's 2 things that we do. One of the things that we know about peace is it starts within us. Everything starts and stops within us. That's our power. We have that. And then there are outside things that come at us, but it's still how we respond to those outside things that keeps our peace. So when we look at that, we have to ask, okay, what, right? We look outside and we look inside. We look outside in the world. I don't know if you guys have heard, but in the United States, we have had horrible flooding in the Carolinas. And I think probably up in states, there's rain that's coming down. But there are people who no longer have their homes. There are people all over the world that don't have homes. So homes are a wonderful gift. that your peace dragon could bring? Food, peace, love, dry clothes, shoes, clean water. Look around your school, look around your classrooms, look around where you live. Do you need more playgrounds? Do you need sidewalks? What is a good thing that your peace dragon could bring the world? These are the things that we can think about. What are the gifts that we can do? In your classroom, you can work together, save all your change, and give somebody $50 clean well, and they can have clean water in their villages around the world. It's pretty amazing, right? Little things that we can do to make somebody else's life wonderful. So we're looking outside, but now I want you to take a moment and look inside. What do you love to do? What are the things that make you peaceful, right? I love to draw. I love to draw dragons. I get so lost in drawing dragons. I'm wondering, right? I love to color and cut paper. So here's a little dragon friend of mine that I always, right? I like to do. I like to cut paper. I love to play with art. That's where I find my peace. I lose all track of time, right? I forget where I am. It's like, oh my gosh, I forgot to make dinner. And I have to go running off. What are the things that you love that make you lose all sense of time? How many of you guys play sports, right? We all love to do something like that. How many of you love reading, cooking, eating? What are the things that you love? How many of you love music? How many of you love to dance around? Do you know the song Happy? 'Cause I'm happy. How about this is gonna be the best day of my life? And I should stick to drawing and not singing because I do not sing. I do sing, I do not sing in any human key. So you may not have recognized those songs, but what are the songs that make you jump around and be happy? There's a group called Imagine Dragons, and I love them because they do this song called Thunder, Lightning, right? It has this great beat to it, and you just feel the power of the music, and you want to stomp around and you want to dance around. It's a wonderful gift for your dragon to bring to the world because you can share moments with people. And that's what peace is. Peace is about coming together and sharing to come and know each other better and to learning more. When someone shares something with you, you learn more, not only about them, but also about yourself. Maybe you didn't know this. I work with people that come from all over all over the world, and they come into our country. And one of the things they say about the United States is, oh my gosh, everything is so sweet. Now, right now, I'm in Nashville, and Nashville has something called sweet tea. Oh my gosh, it's sugar with a little bit of iced tea. It is so sweet. So when they call it sweet tea, it really is sweet. But everyone from around the world will say, oh my gosh, Americans, right? All they have is sweet, sweet, sweet. So when you travel around the world, I had something that was dessert for people. And I was like, oh no, I want more sugar. So a lot of times, right, when I draw a peace dragon, I will have them bring dessert because I love dessert and I love sharing sweet with people. So what I might do, there we go. I will draw two little lines like this. I'm going to take C's and I'm going to draw a frosting, and it's going to go whoop, whoop, boop, 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 boop. And I'll connect from the other side because I want to have a cherry right on top. And I'm going to draw lines like this. And there you go. I would have dessert because that's a great way to make friends and meet somebody. And I lost my wing there, so I'm going to put a wing back on there. I would love to see your dragons. So if you want to send them to me, I would love to post them and show everyone around the world your peace dragon. Tell me the name of your peace dragon. Tell me its story, and tell me about the gift that your dragon is bringing to the world. You can send it to peacein@icloud.com, or you can connect with me through thepeacedragon.com and go to the contact page, and you can connect with me. You can also go there, and there's a link that has how to draw 6 different dragons. But I'm going to try to connect with all of you that have come here through your teachers and send them the 6 different ways. And they can show you, and you can put it just like this, and it shows every new step in pink. So thank you for coming and sharing with me. If you're going to draw more dragons, take the lines you like forward and bring them into the new ones and let the other ones go away. Try new, crazy, wonky things with your dragons. Big-headed ones, little-headed ones, and 6-headed ones. 75,000 eyes, 685 arms. You're the artist. You are the artist. So as one child once told me, peace in leads to peace out. Have a amazing, which is beyond amazing day, and share peace with everyone you meet. So thank you so much. Have an awesome, awesome day. Me and my dragon, wishing you well.